Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Sotonye Afiesimama and this is Today in History. Now, who are these guys? These guys who have their fists raised up, the two African American guys. Who are they? Are you curious? Stay watching and all shall be revealed before this video ends. We're going to go back to the beginning. So we want to start with our history from the earliest, events that happened today. I want to be chronological, so let's go. This picture right here is a picture of a place formerly called Constantinople. Now, in modern day Turkey, it's changed its name to Istanbul. Now, Constantinople was named after Emperor Constantine, who was a Byzantine emperor who ruled that area in what is now modern day Turkey. Now, the significant events that happened today was there was a huge fire in Constantinople, as it was then called. A young girl, was carrying coal, I suppose, presumably up a staircase. She tripped, the coal landed on her neighbor's roof caught fire and spread to 3,000 homes in Constantinople. That led to 900 deaths, that day. So a very sad event in Constantinople. This is what it looks like today. And the church there in the middle of the picture is called the Hagia Sophia. It was a church for 9 centuries. Then after that became a mosque for nearly 5 centuries, and it's currently a museum. Massive building, massive building. Next, bananas. Bananas? Yes, bananas. These were introduced to the US in 1876 as part of the Centennial Exposition in Philadelphia. Also, this was when the beginnings of the popularity of the banana in America. Obviously, it was brought into the country, possibly from the West Indies, which would be the nearest banana growing country, but not a country now, banana growing nations, if you like, be a group of nations called the West Indies. Okay, so that's what happened on this day in 1876. Now, this picture is a picture of a guy called Lord Kitchener. He was a field marshal in the British Navy, and he died on this day when his HMS Hampshire ship was torpedoed by the Germans, by a German mine. Okay, so he was born on 24th of June in 1850, and he was from County Kerry, Ireland, or he was born in County Kerry, Ireland, a place called Ballylongford. Then he's also popular for being the guy who was in this poster, "Your Country Needs You." Now, this poster is very popular in the United Kingdom, and there's a US version of this as well, which is an Uncle Sam poster, which also says "Your country needs you" with a bowler hat on, So that's that about Horatio Kitchener. Then in 1933, on this day, the United States went off the gold standard. The reason was, in part, there had been a depression, a stock market crash in 1929, and people have been holding on to gold as a store of value. Obviously, gold, the price of gold tends to go up as it has over the last few weeks due to the lockdown uncertainty. So that was happening around that time. So in order to forestall people panic hoarding gold, if you like. The United States decided to, they went up the gold standard, essentially, flooded the market with dollars so that people didn't panic and hold on to gold. And so that now made the economy pick up, I guess. I'm not an economist. Although I know that if you flood the country with dollars, it could potentially lead to inflation. But I guess that was managed fairly well at the time. Okay, so moving on, 1944. He was born in 1944 on the 6th of June. That's Tommy Smith. And I'll show you a picture of Tommy Smith, which is the guy on the first position on the podium. The guy in the third position is called John Wesley Carlos. He was born on this day, hence the reason why I'm shooting this video, in 1945, the 5th of June. So guys, reach out to them, say happy birthday. Reach out to them. They're still alive today. Say happy birthday to them. Now, the reason why they have their fists up, like I showed you previously in this picture, if you remember. Yeah, so that's another picture of them. The reason why they have the fists up is they were protesting the treatment of African Americans, and they actually, on that podium, which you can't quite see here, they're not wearing any shoes, so they were protesting the poverty levels of African Americans. So that's the reason why this was their own sign of protest. America was in turmoil at the time. I mean, 6 months after this event, 6 months prior to this, because this happened in October. 6 months prior, Martin Luther King Jr. had been assassinated. So this is like a Black Power salute. So, and 5 decades later, these are the same guys doing their famous salute. Okay, so we move on to the next event that happened today, which would be in 1947. But before I finish, I'm just going to read a quote from Tommy Smith, what he said about their political stance. He said, and I quote, "If I win, I am an American, not a Black American. But if I did something bad, then they would say I am a Negro. We are Black and we are proud of being Black. Black America will understand what we did tonight." Okay, so that's what he said. And, well, one can argue that things have improved, or other people can say things have not improved, especially with the recent happenings less than 2 weeks ago, when George Floyd was basically murdered by a policeman, even though he said he couldn't breathe. So, and then there have been riots all over the United States and all over the world. These protests and riots have spread all over the world, and people are very angry. People are very angry that this is happening in 2020. Okay, so that's that for that. We move swiftly on to 1947. The U.S. Secretary of State George Marshall outlines the Marshall Plan to rebuild Western Europe. So 1947 was 2 years after the Second World War ended. So Europe had been bombed in major cities. I don't think any city in Europe escaped bombing. So the Marshall Plan now was supposed to help rebuild Western Europe. I guess it worked. So 1952, first sporting event televised, and these are the guys here. The names were Walcott and Charles. So Walcott versus Charles. Okay. And in 1967, the Six-Day War begins. Anyone who's heard about the Six-Day War, that was between Israel and all the Arab nations that surround her. Israel defeated all these nations, captured territory on that day. So that's about the Six-Day War. Happened in 1967. 1968. See what happened. This guy, Robert Kennedy, was assassinated. He was going to run for the presidency, but obviously that didn't happen. He was assassinated by a 22-year-old Palestinian, Sirhan, who obviously, with the stuff that's going on in the Middle East with Israel and the Palestinians, he wasn't happy that America presumably was supporting Israel, the state of Israel. Israel had become a state 20 years earlier in 1948. So this happened in 1968 on this day, the 5th of June. 1981, the AIDS epidemic officially begins when U.S. Centers for Disease Control reports on pneumonia affecting 5 homosexual men in Los Angeles. 1981 as well, the world's first Today in History program with editable data, in quotes, called Today, invented by Michael Butler, runs for the first time on a mainframe computer. Now, mainframe computers are huge computers. They're the great-grandfathers or great-great-grandfathers of the computers that we have today. So they were massive. They used to sit in a room, and the sort of data that went through them would be equivalent to the data on an average iPhone today, So I won't be far wrong. I'm probably not precise. I'm not an expert in these things, but yeah, I think I heard somewhere that an average phone today would have more processing power than those huge mainframe computers 30, 40 years ago. 2004, this guy, Ronald Reagan, dies, former president of the United States. He used to be a governor of California and also an actor as well. Then finally, the Department for State Security in Nigeria was set up on this day in 1986. Do not mess with these guys. Do not mess with these guys. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Click the notification bell, so that you get notifications of all my video uploads. Okay? Thanks for watching again. Have a fantastic day. Before I go, I'm just going to show you a picture of famous footballer in Europe. He put out on his Instagram yesterday. Did he know that this guy's the birthdays are today and tomorrow? Did he know about this? This guys who made this Black Power salute famous. He put that up today, obviously because of what's been going on. I found that interesting. I don't think he knew. I'll be very surprised if he knew. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching. And again, please do not forget to subscribe. Take care. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.